The football team looks to stay alive in the NJAC race.
And both soccer teams look to make it to the NCAA Division III tournaments.
All this and much more coming up on All Access. Welcome to All Access, the show that has many surprises, like the Eagles' overtime win last night. I'm Johnny P.
And I'm Cody D, coming off 6 receiving touchdowns and a passing touchdowns in last night's annual RTN football game. It was nice. My passing touchdown, John, I had a halfback pass thrown to me in the backfield, thrown to Rachel Williamson for a touchdown. She was wide open. It was a great play by our producer and myself. I'm not going to brag anymore. I'm going to clearly hand the first story.
Sports Center top 10, by the way, bro.
That's right. I'm going to hand the first story off to you, buddy.
All right, bro, I'm going to take it away. The Rowan field hockey team defeated Montclair State University 2-0 to advance to the NJAC championship game, which will be held on Saturday afternoon. Midfielder Jackie Rosati gave the Profs a 1-0 advantage after the first half. She tapped a loose ball into the right side of the cage at the 27th minute mark. The second goal came on a penalty corner kick by Marissa Marini in the 40th minute in the second half. She passed the ball to back Abby Tucker, who blasted the shot from the left side of the circle. Goalie Carly DeMarco stopped 5 shots, and Marini made 1 defensive save. For the Redhawks, goalie Rebecca Brattle had 4 saves. The Lady Profs are making their second consecutive appearance in the NJAC championship game and will face number 1 ranked College of New Jersey for a 7 p.m. starting time.
The Rowan University field hockey team lost to the College of New Jersey 3-2 in the New Jersey Athletic Conference Championship game on Saturday night. The Profs were down 3-0 at intermission. Marissa Marini and Abby Tucker scored late goals in the second stanza. Profs goalie Carly DeMarco totaled 9 saves, and Marini had 1 defensive save. The Profs finished their season with a 14-6 overall record with a 5-1 record in conference play.
The Rowan University volleyball team fell to Ramapo College 3-0 in the first round of the New Jersey Athletic Conference tournament on Tuesday night. For Ramapo, the set scores were 25-9, 25-17, and 25-13. Outside hitter Larissa Inausku recorded 14 kills and 10 digs for Ramapo. Outside hitter Rachel Selmore contributed with 13 kills. Setter Caitlin Mack-Ivor tallied 31 assists and 9 digs. Defensive specialist Natalia Cervedra had 10 digs. For Rowan, outside hitter Daniel Halvichik collected 9 kills. Setter Mary Grace Testa had 11 assists and 7 digs. Outside hitter Erica O'Hagan chipped in with 12 digs. The Lady Profs end their season with 11-22 overall record, going 5-3 in the NJAC.
Now for all the latest in the world of pro sports, we go to Lenny Schnee for this week's Pro Talk.
Thanks, Cody. This week in pro sports. By the end of the day on Sunday, 3 NFL teams still remained undefeated. The Bengals beat the Browns in dominant fashion on Thursday night, 31-10. Andy Dalton threw 3 touchdown passes, all to emerging star tight end Tyler Eifert, who I have on my fantasy team. On the other side, Johnny Manziel had a rough night, throwing 1 touchdown pass on only 168 yards. The second unbeaten team is the New England Patriots, who defeated the Washington Redskins 27-10. Tom Brady threw 2 touchdown passes, but the big story was LeGarrette Blount, who carried the ball 29 times for 129 yards and a score. The Redskins' ground game was a non-factor in the loss, along with quarterback Kirk Cousins. The final unbeaten team is the Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton had another great game in the 37-29 victory over Green Bay. Newton threw for 299 yards along with 3 touchdowns, 2 in the air and 1 on the ground. Aaron Rodgers threw for 4 touchdowns in the losing effort and was sacked a season-high 5 times. Over to the NBA, where the biggest story is in California, where the Golden State Warriors stand at 7-0 so far this season. They are being led by none other than Steph Curry, who is scoring at an outstanding rate. Curry is averaging nearly 34 points per game as well as hitting nearly half his three-point attempts. With this start, the Warriors are being compared to the 1995-96 Chicago Bulls, who won a record 72 games. And fans of the NHL's Edmonton Oilers were hit with disappointment this week as rookie center Connor McDavid went down with a broken clavicle. McDavid was selected #1 overall this June in the draft and was projected to have superstar caliber statistics. He will miss at least 2 months with his injury, and the Oilers will certainly not be rushing him back. Now over to soccer, where New Jersey natives, the New York Red Bulls, have advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals. They did so by defeating DC United 1-0 on Sunday. The Red Bulls dominated the game, not giving up a shot until the second half of the game. The lone goal was scored by none other than Bradley Wright Phillips, who led the team with 18 goals in the regular season. And we rounded out by heading over to the track where Jimmy Johnson picked up the victory at the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Texas Motor Speedway this Sunday. That win was Johnson's 5th of the season and was his 13th time this season, finishing in the top 5. That's all I have for you on this week's Pro Talk. John and Cody will have updates on the Prof soccer teams coming up after the break.
Welcome back to All Access. We have an update on football and ice hockey, but let's first talk about the latest on the soccer teams. Cody?
Thanks, John. The Rowan University women's soccer team won 1-0 over Stockton University in the semifinals of the New Jersey Athletic Conference Championship Tournament on Tuesday evening. Forward Melissa Kelly recorded the game winner at 83-35. She hit the net after a cross from the left side by midfielder Megan Carchidi. Goalie Shelby Money stopped 2 shots for her 5th shutout. For the Ospreys, goalie Nicole Palante made 7 saves. This is the Prof's 13th straight appearance in the conference tournament. Rowan won the NJAC Championship Tournament in 2008 and was the 2nd seed. The Profs were seeded first in the conference tournament in 2011 and 2009.
We have women's soccer highlights to show you, courtesy of my man Cody Deck. Let's roll them.
Reporting for the Rowan Television Network, I'm Cody Decker. Down here toward the west side of the field is where this was the spot for the game-winning goal in overtime. Rowan and TCNJ vying for the NJAC Championship in women's soccer, live here from the Rowan Soccer Field in Glassboro, New Jersey. On Friday night, the top-seeded Rowan Lady Profs hosted 2nd seed TCNJ in the 2015 NJAC Championship game from Rowan University. Entering the 36th minute in the first half, Rowan goalie Shelby Money collided with Lion defenseman Marissa Scognomiglio on a rebound chance to set up a penalty kick for TCNJ. Scognomiglio would connect from the 12-yard mark to put the Lions ahead 1-0. The score would stay that way going into the second half. TCNJ kept the pressure coming, but Rowan continued to get opportunities to tie the game. About midway through the second half, forward Melissa Kelly received a pass and stayed onside, but just missed wide left with a one-on-one with Lions goalie Jessica Weeder. Money could not be denied of saves, though, with TCNJ trying to increase their lead. She had a string of a couple saves in the second half that kept Rowan in reach of tying the game, and possibly winning it during the 90 minutes of regulation. In the 66th minute, Rowan would capitalize on a cross from the right corner. Midfielder Megan McKinley found forward Sarah Rosenberg at the center of the box. Rosenberg blasted a shot top shelf past Weeder to tie the game at 1 goal apiece. With time winding down in regulation, Rowan had one last shot to end the game on a corner kick, but Weeder was able to just get enough of the ball to force it out of play and force the game into extra time. Right off a throw-in in the 94th minute, forward Maxine New set up forward Catherine McCary from about 8.5 yards out to chip a shot in the bottom right 90 of the net to clinch the victory. Making their 13th straight appearance in the NJAC tournament, Rowan stopped a 6-year period of Montclair State and TCNJ winning the conference. TCNJ had 4 of those titles. Next up, the NCAA Division III tournament awaits the Lady Profs. First and second rounds are scheduled from November 13th to November 15th and will be hosted at Rowan University. 64 teams from across the nation will look to make their way to the national championship on December 5th in Kansas City, Missouri. So the Rowan Lady Profs soccer team wins the NJAC championship for the second time in their history. Rowan taking care of the possession battle offensively, while it was TCNJ in transition taking care of their offensive scheme. And as you go to my left here, the families, all the friends of the players, they are celebrating, and celebrating they shall here tonight, but only for a little bit, as the NCAA bracket for the Division III National Tournament will be released. Rowan gets the automatic bid. They have been ranked second in the latest regional ranking, so that definitely would have got them in already. TCNJ ranks fourth in the region. They should make their way to the NCAAs, but we will see how the field plays out. Again, Rowan victorious for the NJAC Championship. Cody Decker here reporting for the Rowan Television Network. The Rowan University men's soccer team lost to Montclair State University 5-1 in the semifinals of the New Jersey Athletic Conference Championship Tournament on Wednesday night. The Pros have a record of 16-5 and now await a possible at-large berth to the NCAA Division III Championship Tournament. Rowan is second in the NCAA South Atlantic Region rankings that were released on Wednesday. Rowan goalie Kyle Dennis played 54 minutes and 24 seconds and stopped 5 shots. Goalie Grant Kelly saw 35 minutes and 36 seconds of action and made 2 saves. So, John, we have some breaking news for the men's and women's soccer teams about the NCAA tournament. The men received an at-large bid to the NCAA Division III tournament. They will visit Dickinson College in the first round in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, on the campus of Lycoming College. That is this Saturday, November 14th at 1:30 p.m. And as you just saw in the package, the women received an automatic bid with the NJAC Championship victory. They will also host the first and second rounds here on the campus of Rowan University. Rowan plays LaSalle College, and Lynchburg College will play Babson College. First round games will be at 5 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. on Saturday, November 14th. A conference call coming up on Tuesday will determine who plays at both times, and the winners will be playing the second round game on Sunday, November 15th at 5 p.m. So if you're interested in seeing some of the high-quality teams in Division III soccer, the women's soccer teams, come out and check them out this weekend. It should be a really exciting tournament.
I'm actually looking very forward to the women's soccer team. I mean, they play well all season, and being able to just sweep through the tournament and become the NJAC championships, and then on top of that, we have a home game. That's very rare. So like I can be able to just drive 2 miles instead of drive 20 miles all the way to Lycoming, but it's going to be a great game.
There's 15 freshmen on this team. That's it. They've made a lot of great accomplishments this season, and I can't wait to see them throughout the tournament as well.
15 freshmen, wow.
Impressive.
Yeah, very. Coming up after the break, Cody sits with 2 RTN alumni for this week's Crossfire Debate.
Welcome back to All Access. I'm Cody Decker, back with you on the other side of the studio for our third Crossfire Debate. Joining me at this time are Steven Romanchek, last year's post-production supervisor and chief sports editor, who is currently working for the Philadelphia Eagles. We also have Benny Pinella, RTN's lead sports commentator last year, who is a local radio station sports reporter. Guys, how you doing? Happy to be back?
Doing great.
Doing great, man.
Oh, it's good to be back, too. Walking through those doors brought a little tear to my eye.
You're two of the most little opinionated people I know, so are you guys ready to go?
Yes, we're ready to
I don't know
go.
if I'd call myself opinionated.
Oh, you're opinionated. I worked with you all last year. Nonetheless, let's get started, guys. The Philadelphia Eagles picked up an overtime victory over their NFC East rival, the Dallas Cowboys, on Sunday Night Football, 33-27. DeMarco Murray and Ryan Matthews had great performances on the ground for a touchdown each and a combined 150 yards. Sam Bradford went 25-36 with 295 yards and the game-winning touchdown pass to Jordan Matthews. If the Eagles are going to keep winning, what is their offensive scheme going to need to be?
Consistent? Is that an answer?
That's definitely a fair
Confidence.
There you go.
That was the big thing. One thing that, because I go and do all the locker room interviews and stuff like that, is they kept talking about drop passes. And I'm sick and tired of everybody in the media and everybody online talking about how Sam Bradford's not a good quarterback. He is a good quarterback if somebody can catch a ball. Jordan Matthews finally came out of his slump last night. Josh Huff was nowhere to be found last night. Miles Austin, who was on Dallas, he was on so many other teams, is like one of their lead receivers, and it just made no sense. So they need to catch the ball.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I'm very high on Sam Bradford. I think a lot of people would know that. The issue's been that, okay, Matthews had that big drop Monday Night Football the first week, and he hadn't been the same receiver since. Miles Austin, I'm not going to you can try to look me in the eye with a straight face and tell me Miles Austin is a starting wide receiver in the NFL right now. He's not. He's barely a fourth stringer. I thought the rookie Aguilar we drafted, I thought he was going to be something. Right now, I think he's hurt.
He was back. He was ready to go, The reason I think was Chip said today.
Huff has the dropsies, and Riley Cooper is. I can
He's
say a
hurt
lot
now.
about
Riley got hurt last game.
It's probably the best for him. The key is they have to get Zach Ertz involved, but Zach Ertz has the dropsies as well, and they can't put Brett Selleck in because they like to use him for blocking.
Yeah.
So the issue's been that all your guys that you thought were going to be these big possession receivers and catch all these passes, they just haven't been. A lot of people were saying early on that, it's because Bradford hasn't got enough reps. Well, we're in week 9 now. We're going into week 9 now. That argument's irrelevant now. You know, I think what we're looking at is what the Eagles are going to be this year, which is a team that's going to rely on running backs getting possessions, a running game that's going to have to play a lot better. I know last night was really good despite having Peters out against a very good Dallas line.
Dennis Kelly started.
Dennis Kelly. I was shocked that he was that good. But I think we saw a big step forward last night against a Dallas team that a lot of people are undercutting because they're missing a lot of players. I know I saw a couple of Eagles fans online just absolutely rip Dallas and say, the Eagles. The only reason the Eagles won is because Roma wasn't playing.
Okay, yeah, that makes just their defense was. They still do stuff. They as long as they don't have the turnovers. That's the one thing Dallas doesn't have is the turnovers. But Matt Castle was not doing a bad job. He's doing better than Brandon Weeden.
Oh yeah.
Dez looked a lot.
I think you and me could do better than Brandon Weeden.
I think anybody can do better than Brandon Weeden, except for Geno Smith. Geno Smith.
What's his
with the
rate? It's like
Jets.
his last 11 games, 0-11 or something.
Yeah, I don't
crazy,
know.
something like that.
Yeah, but they can turn it around. It's just going to be tough, especially in this division, because it's so close.
It is so close.
I'm calling it now, though. Giants will beat New England this week.
I'll quote another RTN alumni, Derek McCauley. This division's a dumpster fire right now.
I think that big Week 17 game could be big. Giants, Eagles. That could determine the division right there.
Yeah.
Always seems to.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. Staying in the NFL, Cowboys defensive lineman Greg Hardy has been in a debacle with domestic violence. Recently, photos were released of a domestic violence issue involving his ex-girlfriend. Should he still be able to play in the NFL?
In the words of Greg Hardy, no comment, next question.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys could talk about it. I don't have enough information, and I really haven't been keeping up with the story, so I won't have an opinion on this. So you guys can go ahead.
Fair
Definitely.
enough. Benny, you want to take one?
Instead of talking to you, I'm going to talk into the camera
Go
right
ahead.
here. Greg Hardy, if you just so happen to be scrolling down YouTube and you watch this video, I want to tell you something. As a young man that comes from a single mom who raised him his entire life, who has the utmost respect for women, if you ever touch another woman again, you won't have to worry about going to the police. I'm going to hurt you. That is the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen an athlete do, what he did to his girlfriend. Ray Rice is the same thing. There is no excuse ever to hit a woman and do what they did to women. They should not be allowed. The NFL is a privilege given to athletes that deserve to play in the NFL and men that deserve to play in the NFL. And Greg Hardy and Ray Rice, they're not men. Same with Ben Roethlisberger. He's not a man. And you know I can tell because they go out there and next question, we don't want to talk about it. No, when you do something wrong, you have to atone for it. He never really atoned for it. Oh, he got a year off. Yeah, it was paid, all right? He does not deserve to be starting for any NFL team right now. But I read an article that opened up my mind to the whole situation. The owners and Roger Goodell aren't going to do anything about it until we do something about it, until we stop buying those NFL official ties, those NFL official jerseys. We stop watching those games. No one's going to do anything about it until it affects these guys. Because these owners, they only think in dollar signs. So the only thing that we can do to stop them is to stop that income.
I just don't understand how the NFL has not taken action yet. I don't understand why Greg Hardy's taking snaps on the field.
Well, he got
This
4
is the
games,
second-
right? That was it.
He
was 10 originally, and then went down to 4.
It was all last season, and he got 4 games this year. But as I'm saying, he does not need to be in the league right now. You know, if and I hate making the comparison, but and especially because he played for the Eagles, I'm an avid Eagles fan. But Michael Vick went to prison for a year. He did what he did. Again, comparing dogs to people, it's an iffy subject, but it's still a living creature. I do think that Greg Hardy should have been gone from the game for a very long time and brought back in when mentally he's allowed to come back in. He's not. You saw the dispute on the sidelines. You saw the dispute on the sidelines. He doesn't need to be here right now. He doesn't.
Ray Rice's videos were released. He was suspended indefinitely. We now have photos to prove Hardy and his domestic violence issues. Why is he still on the field? That's what I'm not getting.
At a time where we need to come together as a nation and rally around what the big issues are, this needs to be talked about more.
Absolutely.
What he did to his girlfriend is, I can't say what I want to say right now.
Yeah,
I can't.
I totally agree with you, and obviously we're going to have to keep an eye on this issue. But we're going to move to the ice rink now. We're in the NHL 2015 first overall pick, and 18-year-old Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers suffered a broken clavicle in the game against the Philadelphia Flyers on November 2nd when he was hit into the boards. He's expected to miss 3 months, 2 at least. He has 5 goals and 7 assists on the season. 15 games in, the Oilers are 5-10 on the season with 10 points and are in last place in the Pacific Division. Is their season over with this injury to McDavid?
No. One of the reasons being is they've had stockpiling players. Besides Neil Yakupov, who was the biggest bust ever, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Taylor Hall, they've made some nice moves. Cam Talbot's now their goalie. They're making moves, and they're still in a rebuild, and it's going to take a little bit of time. McDavid being out is big because he's supposed to be the next Wayne Gretzky. Who else was supposed to be the next Wayne Gretzky? Sidney Crosby. So the organization can turn around, but I don't know if he's going to be the same player he was because Patrick Kane last season had the same injury. He's close to, I think he's 27. He's going on 28 this year. His body's more matured, and now that the surgery will go through, he came back in 7 weeks. McDavid, I think, is going to be out a little longer. I think he's going to be out 3 to 4 months because he's so young. His body's still going through puberty. His bones are still growing. So he's not going to have the same fiery. Oh, he's going to have the same fire, but he's not going to have the same skill because I think he's going to have some type of injury with it. And it's going to keep going with his career.
8 teams getting into the playoffs in both leagues is going to help the Oilers. That's all I can say. Again, when you're bad for that long, you stockpile a lot of talent, as Steven said. I kind of feel bad for the kid because when you play in a big hockey town like Edmonton, there's a lot of expectations there to do well, and I feel like whenever you're the top pick, you just need to go to a place where there's not a lot of expectations. You need to go to a place where people aren't going to get on you if you don't play well. And I think it's unfortunate, but he ended up in Edmonton, hockey town, Canada. I can't say USA. They're not in USA, but it's hockey town, Canada. People are on that team to do well. They haven't had a winning season in forever. No. So 8 teams is going to help them. They're going to sneak into the playoffs. But whenever I talk about teams like being that 7th or 8th seed in the playoffs, I would go, why? What's the point? You're
upset. That's probably it.
The number one team rarely happens.
You could beat that number one team, and then all of a sudden you go to the next round and you get
destroyed, and then you're moved back in the draft.
The thing is, and I'm looking at it now, like Jack Eichel is probably extremely happy he never went to there because he was in Buffalo now, and now that organization's a lot better. Personally, I don't like Connor McDavid too much. Actually, he's a good player. I thought Jack Eichel was the better one out of the two, in my opinion. When you look at the first 2 overall picks, he also scored first. Jack Eichel, he got the first goal out of the 2.
Flyers fan, I just want to win. So
good luck with
Next
that.
question.
As a
Devils fan, playing pretty well right now, actually.
Yeah, as a rebuild, you were playing pretty well.
Yeah, great depth on that team, but. All right, that's going to be all the time we have for this Crossfire debate. I'd like to thank Benny Pinella and Steve Romachek for stopping by, guys. Thanks for coming on your busy schedule. We really appreciate it. John and I will have the latest on the rink and on the gridiron coming up after this timeout. Welcome back to All Access. The Pross Ice Hockey team were supposed to play 2 games this past weekend, so let's get into it with John. Take it away, buddy.
Yes, sir. The Rowan Ice Hockey team was set to visit the University of Maryland on Friday night, but the game was canceled due to bad ice conditions. The game will be rescheduled for a later date. The Terrapins sit at 7-3 on the season and 1-2-1 in the MAC South Division with 3 points. They also rank ahead of Rowan by 1 spot in the first ACHA Southeast ranking this season.
What was not canceled this weekend was a marquee matchup Saturday as the Profs took to the ice against MAC North rival Penn State. In a game where Rowan had more offensive possession and crisp passing, the Nittany Lions capitalized in transition, turning defense into offense. In the first, with 1 minute and 8 seconds to go, center Stefan Horgus gave Penn State the lead to take a 1-goal lead into the intermission. In the second, left wing Alex Polis received a one-timer from forward Sam Meyer to even up the score. But 2 minutes later, Penn State captain Ryan Urban answered back with a goal of his own to take a 2-1 advantage. In the final period of regulation, Brett Leshevsky capitalized on a turnover in the Rowan offensive zone and found Twine on a wrist shot to tie the score. The game would need extra time to decide a victor, and defenseman Andrew Beck of the Nittany Lions answered the call 3 minutes into the overtime period for a final score of Penn State 3, Rowan 2. Penn State is now 11-3 on the season with a MAC North record of 3-0 and 6 points, while Rowan is 7-3 overall with the 2-0 and 1 mark in the division with 5 points.
In a must-win game to keep their NJAC championship hopes alive, Rowan fell in overtime to Kane University 20-17 in overtime on Saturday afternoon. Kane will go up 14-0 after the first half, thanks to 2 touchdown passes in the second quarter from quarterback Charles App, a 24-yarder to Taj Hammery, and a 7-yarder to Jonathan Smith. In the second half, Rowan scored a touchdown in each of the first 2 quarters to send the game into OT. Quincy Lambert ran in a 1-yard scamper in the third that capped a 15-play, 75-yard drive that took 7 minutes and 42 seconds off the clock. Then in the fourth, Dante Pickney ran into the end zone from a yard out to tie the score. In the overtime period, Rowan had the ball first. Tyler Knighton connected on a 30-yard field goal to put the Pros up 3. But in 4 plays, App found the end zone once again for the Cougars, this time a rushing touchdown from 14 yards out to end the game. App went 20 of 38, throwing for 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. He also led the team in rushing yards with 90 on 11 carries and the score, averaging 8.2 yards a carry. Smith had 9 receptions for 54 yards and a touchdown catch. For Rowan, Dante Pickney went 19 of 26 for 132 yards. Lambert rushed 29 times for 106 yards and a touchdown. Russ Fortune led the Pros in receiving with 10 catches for 69 yards. Kane and Rowan are now tied with Frostburg State for 3rd place in the conference at 5-3. They are also tied overall with a 6-3 record on the season. All 3 other teams are out of the conference title race, with Salisbury and Wesley only having 1 conference loss. But Rowan will look to bounce back in the final game of the regular season against TCNJ in a Friday Night Lights game this week. Kickoff is scheduled for 7 p.m., and you can catch the game at live.rtnch5.com.
Well, we have blown the final whistle for this edition of All Access. On behalf of my partner, John Patterson, Lenny Schnee, Deshaun Waller, and the entire All Access team, I'm Cody Decker. We will see you after our 168-hour break.